Happy Easter weekend to all of you, and speaking of the resurrection of Christ, we now have a new trailer for a game that we now know is Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. So let's talk about that shit. Got a lot of requests to talk about this too, like more than the Wolverine trailer. People are like, Wolverine, we don't give a shit. Talk about Phantom Pain. So as you guys know, I'm a big Metal Gear Solid fan, and the Phantom Pain trailer actually has a bit of a backstory to it. During PAX 2012, Hideo Kojima released a trailer to Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes. It was really cool, and it showed the Fox engine, it shows Big Boss doing his mission. You're like, oh, that's badass. Then a few months later, this random video, this trailer for this game called Phantom Pain came out. And people were like, is that Metal Gear Solid? It wasn't marketed as Metal Gear Solid, nor did anyone say Hideo Kojima was attached to the project. It was just gameplay footage of Phantom Pain. Here you go, enjoy. But really, how many heroic military one-eyed mullets are there in video games? That had to be Big Boss. Dude missing an arm, he had like a prosthetic hook arm, but you're like, Big Boss didn't lose an arm, did he? And now it's been revealed that Phantom Pain game, yeah, that's Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. And to clarify, then you're like, oh, okay, well, I guess Ground Zeroes is the same game, and people thought it was the same game, and I guess Hideo Kojima said, yeah, it's all the same thing. But Konami's now telling us, no, Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain are two separate games. That's all we're saying right now. Interesting, intriguing, but holy shit, it's like Metal Gear's in full force right now. So the Phantom Pain trailer starts out and Big Boss is in bad shape. He's back from a mission. Kaz Miller's next to him, all like, don't you die on me, damn it.
Don't you die on me, damn it. He be dropping. Intubate, now.
And the Fox engine does look really impressive. You got that J.J. Abrams lens flares going on. And you're like, all right, he's been brought on the bridge of the Enterprise and they're doing CPR on Big Boss. I don't know how I'm not gonna enjoy this right now.
Well, he's stabilized, but it took too long. He's in a coma.
And then he goes into a coma, which is interesting because the story's always been he got wounded in battle, he was brought in, he was in a coma. That's when the Les Enfants Terribles project happened. The Sons of Big Boss were created. However, it was always said that that happened in 1972, but Peace Walker took place in 1974. And I was always like, are there timeline conflictions here? And it does look like there are, which happens when you start adding lore in between a story you've already established. However, since this is probably gonna be really badass shit, I'm gonna be like, all right, I'll deal with it. That's what happens with timeline conflictions in games. When you can make me still enjoy the game, I'll be like, I'll forgive the timeline conflictions. When he goes into cardiac arrest and the doctors are like, oh, he's in a coma now. Kaz Miller's like,
What about him?
and you're like, who, me? Like the first person camera? Is Big Boss not the main character in this game? Is this other person the main character? They're not above that. There was a time they were like, oh yeah, Metal Gear Solid 2 and Solid Snake, and by Solid Snake we mean Raiden. And it looks like a lot of the footage from this trailer is when Big Boss wakes up from his coma, because he still has, hospital pants on, he's got his prosthetic hook hand, and then shit is happening. There's really cool stuff that happens in this trailer though. I mean, it shows him wipe out this truck, and it does the whole like Inception slow-mo, everything's floating. Then you see weird shit like, a whale eat a helicopter, and you're like, I don't know. Metal Gear Solid's always had that weird supernatural element to it, be it psychological, scientific, or otherwise. Whales eating helicopters are apparently not absurdly strange. However, I saw this one dude, he's like, oh yeah, horseback, and wait a minute, the dude has spurs, and holy shit, is that Revolver Ocelot? I don't know for sure. I'm pretty sure no one knows for sure except the people who made the game, but I'm gonna say I'm pretty sure that's Revolver Ocelot, which automatically makes me happy. You see Outer Heaven burning to the ground where you're like, Outer Heaven, what happened? And no, it's not Outer Haven, it's Outer Heaven. Outer Haven was in Metal Gear Solid 4. Outer Heaven was what Big Boss established. And at the end of this trailer, this one doctor that looks like Mike from Breaking Bad tells Big Boss,
I'm afraid it's been 9 years.
so it is possible that in the duration of Big Boss's coma, if that's when the Sons of Big Boss were created, they could be around 8 years old at this point. We don't know for sure though, and that's kind of the fun of talking about trailers. People are like, why do you talk about trailers? Because it's cool to speculate, dude. That's what the internet's all about. Talking shit, speculating, and porn. The purpose of the internet. The weirdest part of the trailer, yeah, weirder than the whale that eats the helicopters at the very, very end of the trailer, where it shows Big Boss and he has a new unit, Diamond Dogs. That's not the weird part. The weird part is that weird shrapnel horn in his head. What is that thing? Is that shrapnel? Is that a piece of shrapnel that went into his head? You don't see it when they're all doing CPR on him at the beginning, so it can't be what caused the coma. Is it like Mass Effect? You have the freedom to be a dick and then you start growing horns if you are? The cool part is he has that fake robotic hand at the end of this trailer, which looks to be the same robotic hand that that one dude had in Peace Walker that had the lighters and the fingers. Just saying, things are being woven together in a really interesting Hideo Kojima-ish kind of way. It being a Metal Gear Solid game, I am automatically excited for it. It's kind of funny that Solid Snake has actually been the star of a lot less games than Big Boss has at this point, if we don't count Metal Gear 1 and 2. It looks like there are some timeline alterations, but if they can make it cool, I'm gonna be be like, I don't care about continuity, I guess. I do care about continuity, but I am willing to turn a blind eye. And yes, a big piece of news on Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain is the fact that David Hayter is not going to be the voice of Big Boss in this game. He wasn't even called back for it, and a lot of fans have a lot to say about that. I have my thoughts on the subject, but it's not so black and white in my head. But for something like that, I'd rather just do its own video on it. So I'll have that video to you on Monday. Between now and then, enjoy the Cadbury cream eggs. Alright, so Phantom Pain officially being Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain. Have you seen the trailer? What did you think about it? Whatever you think, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.